Hi everybody, welcome to today's video. If you're brand new to my channel, my name is Katie. I usually do videos sort of on topics about like gap years and study abroad and like college life and things like that. Today I'm actually home because it is my college's spring break. I found my journal from my freshman year of college. It was really funny. So I thought that it would be kind of funny to like talk about like kind of like surviving your freshman year of college and like what I have learned now that I'm a senior. I don't even feel like a senior in college. Like I just feel like I know I'm still in college, but I feel very old because I took a gap year and like I'm 23 right now finishing up my senior year, which is not like old, like that's a very normal age to finish college at, but like some of my friends are like not in college, so it's like I'm in a very weird place in my life, but I thought that I could have some interesting insight while I get ready for the day because I am going to lunch. If you're a freshman in college and you're watching this video, hi. Oh, and first I'm using SPF 35 because sunscreen is important, ladies and gentlemen. I'm using just like the glossy one. It's pretty good. I don't know if I'd like recommend it to everybody. My second semester, well, my first semester of freshman year of college was pretty bad. Not like bad, it was just like, it's just like rough. And I feel like everyone's freshman year is rough, but like the further you get in college, like the more of like a distant memory it becomes and you're like, oh, college was awesome. The second someone mentions freshman year, like most people are like, oh my god, like that was so bad. If you like go back to my really old content, I talked about my freshman year of college, but I did random roommates, which was my first mistake. And I had a lot of roommate issues, and some of the roommate issues I have not talked about online because like I just don't want to do that to other people, but I have been put in a lot of really uncomfortable positions, and like I had a lot of confrontations my freshman year of college, and that was not fun. If you're a freshman dealing with this right now, I lived in a suite with like 8 girls. One of the biggest things, well, people moved out. We had like maybe 5 of us left by the end of the year. There always seems to be like a voice of reason to like emerge, like somebody who is a mediator, and that became me because I was like, no, like I'll have a conversation. Oh my god, we also had like a group chat, and I've talked about this in other videos too, but if you can, avoid texting your roommates if you have disagreements and just like try to go talk to them. This video is like literally already all over the place. I had such a turbulent like last 3 months of college in my living space because things just got so bad. And I've told this story online, but I had this one roommate who just would like call the cops on our neighbors above us like all the time. So much so that campus police came to our apartment one night like during exams, and they were like, you cannot call us anymore. I was not like super into going out my freshman year. I went to a city school. If you know, College of Charleston is in a city. It's a small city, but it's a city nonetheless. The party culture is like not really my thing. It wasn't my thing freshman year and didn't really become my thing. Like I'm very much more like, now that I'm of age, like I really just kind of like hanging out with friends, having a drink, like being with like close friends, but like going to like big frat parties and things like that was just absolutely never my thing. Which like, you know, everyone does their own stuff and has to experiment in college, but that was just like never my thing. And it really feels like that should be everyone's thing when you go to college. And I know that those freshman year Friday nights and Saturday nights alone feel so bad if you don't have plans. I hear it all the time now that I'm older. Like I hear freshmen sitting in my classes behind me, and like they're all sort of like starting to figure out that like not everybody's going out all the time. There are people like them on campus, but it can be really hard to find those people because a lot of people meet their friends through parties their freshman year. When I went to study abroad, I found that like societies and places like the dining hall became really big places for people to make friends. That's just not how my experience was in the US. It was kind of like you either got along really well with your roommates or you were in a sorority, and I wasn't in either of those things. And I tried to join a bunch of clubs, but that just kind of went really weird. So I guess I'm just like kind of talking about this to be like, I don't know, if you're like a freshman struggling right now, I can guarantee you, like, I would say 70% of all other freshmen are struggling, but they're just like not telling you. And if you're like alive and like eating food and going to class and you're doing better than most. You guys don't care. I wear like 2 things of makeup, so I don't even know why I'm not a beauty guru, but I like this concealer. It's the Ilia concealer from Sephora. Yeah, my freshman year, this is my spring break. So my spring break, my freshman year, I went to Iceland. And I'll link a video I talked about like literally a million years ago on my channel of this trip to Iceland. And it was a really big turning point in my life, I would say. I think I like never considered myself like an adventurous person. Like you sort of get used to what people saw you as in high school, and you sort of hope those things will change in college. But like it's all very unsure your freshman year. Like you just don't know who you are yet, and you're still figuring it out. And yeah, I went to Iceland and I had such an amazing time. I remember I met all these students from the school in the UK, and they were all just like sitting around talking, having such a nice time. And I was just like, man, whatever they have, like I want what they're having. Like it just looks so nice. The way that they were all just like talking to each other, and I don't know, like they all seemed to know each other a lot better than our student group did. And I got to know people in our tour group, but it was just a different vibe. And I remember that night I was like, I have to go study abroad for a year. Like I love this so much. I love the feeling of talking to new people, and that is not something that I had ever really categorized myself as. I think I got to college and I was like, oh, everyone wants to make friends and everyone's gonna be so open. And I just found that I had like a little bit of a hard time like fitting in, because a lot of what the social scene was those like big parties, and I never found myself in social situations in college. Like none of those social situations were ones that I ever felt comfortable in. I think now that I'm getting older, you know, last year I was invited to like a bunch of like dinner parties, just like getting to know people sort of like one-on-one and different types of social settings. And I found myself sort of like thriving a lot more in those. When those are not available to you as a freshman, it's just like these big party scenarios and you're like, I'm at a party and I'm like, I don't know what to do with my hands. And I think I like literally wrote about this. I wrote about like one of my second parties that I went to January of my freshman year. I did not go to any parties my freshman year, barely. Also my freshman year I was just like so genuinely afraid of getting in trouble, because I met this girl, I got a job my second month of college, and she told me she got like a citation and it was like $3,000 for using a fake ID. So I was just like absolutely terrified to go out and like do those kinds of things, which like I think most freshmen are, especially if you've never been in those types of scenarios before. It's quite a lot your first times. And I look back at them and it was like really funny. But I think that you think your freshman year, like everybody has it all figured out, like the way that media portrays like high school nowadays. My high school experience was not euphoria. Did a lot of musical theater and choir, and not that I knew some things. I'd been around the block. My friends had been around the block. And I heard about it, but I was just doing my own thing in high school. I was a big nerd. But I kept a journal my freshman year. That's what I'm just like flipping through right now. And it's so funny. If you can keep a journal your freshman year, like, oh my God, you're gonna have so much fun looking back at that. Oh my God, I have changed so much, but also like not at all, if that makes any sense. I came from an area, and I know a lot of people sort of feel this as well. I don't think that I ever like let myself have fun until maybe last year, which is a little funny, but I was like so focused on getting internships and doing well in school my freshman and sophomore year, and working. Like I had a job, an internship, and I was in like 18 credits my sophomore year, and I was having some like really bad roommate issues. I finally got into a place this year and last year where like I finally started to have fun in college. And I think that's just like a reality. It's like sometimes for some of us, you're not gonna have the best time the whole time, and that's completely normal, because most people, when they talk about like nostalgia from college, like they're talking about later in life. I think as long as you just like challenge yourself and do the things that you really want to do, you're gonna realize that college doesn't last forever, and if it's not the greatest 4 years of your life, you have so much more life to live. And it can just feel like so much pressure, and I've made other videos about this before. Also, I'm using Hourglass bronzer. It's like a million years old. Yeah, it's like a million years old, but I love this bronzer so much. It's the nude bronze light one. I use this like every day. I use it on my eyes too. Oh my God, this is a journal entry from my sophomore year of college. I said, this is my literal first day of sophomore year. I said, today is my first day being a sophomore in college. I feel like I can breathe a little easier every time I say those words. I was walking to buy some detergent at CVS today, and I was running into the mass exits from convocation. That's like a big thing that the freshmen do at my college. I heard them all discussing like their 8 a.m.s and majors and such, and I couldn't help but laugh. I do not envy them. I am going to open, I started my sophomore year not knowing anybody because my best friend had to leave school, so I was like really in a low. I just remember being like so incredibly happy that I wasn't a freshman anymore, because there's so much pressure. So if you are a freshman, like just enjoy the ride and get through it, because for a lot of us, that's the worst, because you're just figuring out how to like live on your own, and that takes a really long time. I remember hearing this quote, and it was talking about moving to a new city, which maybe that like doesn't really apply, but the school I went to, whatever school you go to, you're moving to a new place by yourself. I heard Jonathan Van Ness say this once. It really just validates like so much in my life. But he was basically saying that it takes about 2 years after you move to a new place to feel settled in and feel like you have your life. It takes a really long time to get settled and like make the right types of relationships that you're looking for, and that's completely fine. And I'm gonna be doing another video about this. I was actually working on this yesterday, talking about like moving to a new city and like how to cope with all of that. So this video is just like super chill, but now that I'm coming to the end of college, like I have a lot of really funny memories with people that I really care about. I did things that I want to do, and maybe I'm never gonna be that person who is like the life of the party at like a thing, you know, like a frat party or things like that. But like in my own special way, I am the life of my own party, and that's what really matters, guys. So I was thinking about like roommate stuff, and I had such bad roommates. Like there were times where I think I was like meaning to say this earlier, but then I just like got distracted. But there were so many times last year where I wish that, not last year, my freshman year, where I wish I just like kept my mouth shut, because I had to be the one to like confront a lot of people about like their roommate like issues that were going on, or like became that person, like the voice of reason. I think I was saying this earlier. Oh, I'm taking this like Glossier like highlighter stick and just putting it like here-ish. You can avoid becoming the person that confronts everybody. Not confronts everybody, but like I would go and have like sit down conversations with people and be like, why do you feel this way? Like, oh, let's talk about this. Like try and like resolve issues. I think I would have saved myself like a lot of heartache if I just like minded my own business sometimes. Not like minded my own business, because it was my business to say these things because it was where I was living. However, it's like if you have 2 months left and you know that your roommate is gonna absolutely lose their mind if you bring something up to them, don't bring it up. Like just like close your door, and like if it's a person living like directly in your room, which I don't know why we do that as freshmen, that is literal torture. I'm sorry, I got distracted. I don't know what I was talking about before. I'm just like reading through this journal, and I just like had a lot of fear my freshman and sophomore year about like just being myself, and I just didn't want to be judged, and I had always wanted to be a YouTuber and like talk about things. And I literally wrote in my freshman year journal, I was like, I want to write about travel. I had like joined like her campus. If you know, you probably still find my articles online. Don't. I remember I published my first article about travel on her campus, and I was like, oh my God, I'm a travel writer. And like little did I know, I remember I wrote down in my freshman year journal, I was like, I want to be a YouTuber one day. But then like looking at my sophomore year journal, I'm like, I could never be able to do that because I'm too afraid of what people will say. Haha, look at me now. So if you have, you know, dreams you really want to do, you know, just like follow your heart. That's the moral of the story of this. I left my eyebrow thing in Charleston, so I can't do my eyebrows, but they're like generally okay. And then I've never been one who's like liked mascara, because I don't like taking it off, and then I always feel like my eyelashes fall out when I take off my mascara, so I'm like I don't know, maybe I'm taking off my mascara wrong. Because other people wear mascara all the time and their eyelashes don't fall out. What am I talking about? I'm so sorry. This is why I don't film Get Ready With Me's, and I usually just have like notes in front of me, because if I just let what's inside my head come out, it's gonna be weird. But yeah, if you have dreams and things that you wanna do, focus your energy on that and like figuring out who you are, because I swear to God, by the end of college, you're gonna be really happy that you did that, instead of, you know, trying to be what is deemed like to fit in, or you know, because that's the other thing about college too, is like I was like, oh, it's gonna be so different from high school. All of those things just kind of, there are always gonna be people who are like trying to be cool and like, you know, are insecure and just like not nice and will think they're better than you, and you know, things like that. At a certain point, like that goes on until you're dead. So like just keep doing you, and you're gonna attract the people that are really cool, and just like be nice to everybody, and pay it forward too. The older I've gotten in college, I'm so glad I'm not a freshman anymore. And don't be that person who like looks down on lower classmen. Help them out, you know what I'm saying? Because I see like people get older in college, and just like high school people would do this too, where they like become sophomores and like, oh, I'm so cool, like I'm not that anymore. Girl, I was not okay my freshman and sophomore year. Like, be nice to them. I don't know, and maybe they are okay. Maybe they're completely fine. They're probably doing better than I did, but it's just, I'm trying to like catch up on my life, man. Even though it's a lighter semester for me, it's just still the weeks go on and on and on. And I have about like, I think about like a month and a half left of college forever, which is really scary. And I'll be able to share like my future plans with you all hopefully soon. Yeah, stay tuned for some more like hopefully like better edited content next week. But if you like this video, give it a like. I don't know if there's any topics that you want me to just like talk about while doing like a get ready with me, because these are pretty easy for me to do, and get ready with me will look the same like pretty much every single time, but because I don't change what I do to my face ever, which maybe I should. Maybe give you some makeup tips. No, don't do that. That's gonna hurt my feelings. Okay, thanks for watching. Ba, 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 ba.